Hello, this is Fortush. In this video I'm gonna show you how to create a Ragdoll setup for your character. So let's open the export, rig animation exporter. And on 3 there is this new Ragdoll tab. Select your skeletal root. Then for this character I want to skip some joints in order to not create rigid body on some joint. So for example, I can skip this 3 joint here. I list the skip joints, and then you can skip entire hierarchy of joints. So for example, you can skip the fingers. Just select. Okay. So now you need to create a group that will contain all the rigid body constraints. And now you have 2 ways that you can use. The first one, like in this case, I have already a group here with some geometry. Let me hide this one. So I have already some geometry, our normal geometry, so there is no rigid body yet. Or you prepare this geometry before, and remember to use as postfix the underscore RB with the same name on the joints. In this way, atoms know where to attach this rigid body to the skeleton. So if you then select your group here and pick from selection here and create rigid body, it automatically creates the capsule for every rigid body here, and we automatically orient. Obviously we need to fix a bit the orientation of some rigid body and the scale of some other. If you don't have this already all the geometry here, you can choose an empty group. For example, let's select empty group here, delete this guy. Okay, let's select and create rigid body. This will create everything from scratch, including the mesh for every valid joint here. Obviously we need to tweak here all the rigid body. So for example, I can tweak this guy, this one, this one, this one, and use the atoms physics like this. And then to scale move, don't use the mesh here to scale it, but use every time the locator, because this one is already controlled by the simulation, so you can't override the transform. But instead, if you move if you scale this one, it will scale the rigid body because it's connected to the input of the rigid body node. So let's tweak this one. Please pay attention if you want to translate this guy, because if you translate, you see also the constraint will be translated, so you need to reposition the constraint to the right joint here before export. So pay attention to this one. Okay, so let me create a plane to test the ragdoll. Atoms, physics, create a rigid body, plane. Let's change the scale. We want 100 because I'm working centimeter, and just press play. Okay, now we need to tick the constraint limit, because now the limits are activated but the angle is wrong. So let's select all this guy here and let's height. You can show an height with this icon. So you can see we need to tweak the constraint limit. So let's go here and let's tweak. Okay, so let's have a look. Much better. So we need to tweak a bit the weight. I suggest to start with the weight on the pelvis and then use decreasing weight when you go far from the pelvis. So let's here put, I don't know, okay, let's have a play. Okay, the last things, we need to set a couple of things on the foot. So let's select the rigid body of the foot. For the foot, I recommend to turn on the disable collision events. This means that during a physics simulation in crowd, the contact between the ground and the feet will never trigger the dynamic state when the agent is in kinematic state. So let's turn on the disable collision event for every of the rigid body that compose the feet. So at this point we can export. So let's bring back the animation exporter. Let's select the skeleton, that is my atoms robot, and then the output parts of the ragdoll setup. Let's export.